Hello and welcome to an episode of the SFX Loop. I'm your host, Jay Byrne. This week is going to be an SFX Loop episode because I had something that I kind of wanted to talk about that I thought was kind of cool. I've always been a big fan of movie poster art, like just classic like 70s and 80s poster art. I'm a big horror movie fan, so I'm used to like really cool VHS box art, posters in general. So I started thinking about it and I'm like, could I come up with 10 posters that I think are really cool, classic? Now this is not a definitive list. I mean, I could probably come up with 100 posters, but I wanted to do 10 that I thought were really cool and for whatever reason kind of, really illustrated that poster art used to be so much cooler than it is now. There are some exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, poster art used to be way cooler than it is now. But so I've got a list here and we're gonna go through a few and I'm gonna talk about what I like about these posters and what I know about these posters. Which, I don't know a lot about like who drew the posters and who did that, because some of that information is not really available or not easily available. But I'm gonna give you my list, and I've got one extra one which is kind of like a modern poster that I think does it right. That's kind of going back to the classic style of movie posters, all right? So, all right, here we go. There's no particular order to this. I put them in order by year because otherwise there would be no order. But so the first one I'm going to talk about is a movie from 1976. It's a movie called Squirm, okay? Now, if you guys are familiar with this, it's a Jeff Lieberman film called Squirm. It's about a small southern town that gets attacked by worms, basically. Like in most of a large majority of the movie takes place, like the finale takes place inside a house, basically getting devoured by these worms when the house is like collapsing in. But this poster is so darn cool. Like, just look at all of the detail and all, I don't know who drew this, but whoever drew this, like, they took their time and they really, it's a piece of artwork. It's really, really cool. I love the font, the look of it. It really exemplifies this classic poster era that I'm trying to talk about here. So, yeah, so Squirm. Squirm is awesome. The poster is great. Check it out. All right, so we're still in 1976 now, and we're gonna talk about the movie Alice, Sweet Alice. I love this movie, okay? This is almost like a thriller. It actually takes from like what was considered giallo, like the Italian thrillers, like Deep Red and stuff like that. The Dario Argento stuff, the Mario Bava stuff. It's kind of an American giallo, really, to be honest with you. But it had Brooke Shields in it in one of her very early roles. But this poster is great. I like the style of this poster because it's a photo. It's not like a drawing, but it's just this like handful of items that are just collected and just take like a photo of these items that are associated with the movie. It's not like modern movie posters, which always got to have the actors' faces on them. You'll notice the big difference between these classic posters and modern posters are that modern posters almost like have to have the face of the actor on them all the time. Whereas these posters, a lot of them, are just the general idea of the movie or a really cool graphic depiction, like a drawing of what the movie is supposed to be. So Alice, Sweet Alice, really cool poster. I don't know, I've always loved this poster. It's one of those images that just stands out to you. And if you grew up in the 80s, you saw this artwork everywhere. Okay? The next one, we're still in 1976 here. This is a poster that used to creep me out when I was a kid. And it's not the greatest poster, but there's just something about, and it's interesting because now it does have the actress's face on the poster, but it's more related to the idea of the movie. Carrie. the movie Carrie, Brian De Palma's film Carrie from 1976. This poster is so cool. It's just a really cool, creepy image. Like, growing up, this image used to really creep me out. I think it's more or less it's just because you've got the standard looking photo of Sissy Spacek on one side, you know, the prom photo. And then you've got the blood covered Sissy Spacek. And the two of them side by side, it just makes that bloody photo so creepy and so, like, I don't know, kind of nightmare fuel, you know? But I think it's a really cool use of a simple idea. And it's a very cool, like, graphically, it just looks cool to me. All right. Now we're into 1978. And we're talking about a rather controversial film, I Spit on Your Grave. This film, like, whether you like it or not, this film was extremely controversial in the 70s. Rape revenge drama. But it was just, I don't know. It's one of those movies where people are very divided on it. Either you like it or you don't. I've always appreciated the film for its cinematic elements. There are certain subject matter. There's some subject matter going on in the film that I don't like love the subject matter, but I feel like the film works really well dramatically. And it's a good revenge drama. But the poster is really cool, and it's notable in that for many years there was this, like, kind of almost like an urban legend that the back, like the woman on the poster, like the backside of the woman, that was Demi Moore. Like, long before Demi Moore was famous. And it turns out it actually was Demi Moore when she was a model, and she was modeling through this agency. She got a call and she was used as the model for the picture. Nobody actually ever knew that, but it is legitimately proven, and it's true. That is actually Demi Moore's, like, backside on the poster there. That she, you know, I don't know, it was just an early job that she did. She was hired for a job to make this poster art. But it's a cool looking poster. It's iconic in that it's one of those things that if you grew up, once again, in the 80s, you always saw this poster. You always saw this video box at the video store. This is an image that you remember if you grew up during that time period. All right, so now we're in 1980, okay? And we're at a film which I just love, Creepshow. Okay, Creepshow is a George Romero film with Stephen King short stories in it, basically. And I've always been a huge fan of this poster art because it's just cool. I just like the idea of the movie booth and, you know, the skeleton holding the ticket. It's a very cool looking photo. Like, it's not even a photo, like artwork. It's just it's really neat looking artwork, and it's another one of those artworks from the 80s that you just couldn't escape. It was just everywhere you went during the 1980s. You used to see video boxes with this artwork on it. There are different artworks for Creepshow, but this, I think this is considered the original poster art for it. And I just remember even a long time ago, like back in the day when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I remember the ad artwork for this, and I remember my aunt and uncle going to see the movie in the movie theater and telling my parents about it. And like, it's just one of those memories of growing up. Creepshow, just, it was one of those movies, and it's a great poster. So, all right, so 1980, there's another controversial one right here. The poster for William Lustig's Maniac. Okay, Maniac is a great film. It's rough if you like those type of movies, those harder movies from like the late 70s and the early 80s. It's definitely considered like a grindhouse style film because it's one of those movies that played on 42nd Street. It got a lot of controversy because it was during this time period where, like, Siskel and Ebert, if you remember who they are, they were film critics from the 80s. They went on this rant. They used to have a TV show, and they would review movies every single week. And people, you know, it was popular. People would actually watch it. And they went on this rant about slasher movies and about, you know, female violence in movies and, you know, just this misogynistic thing that slasher films were doing at that time in the 80s. And this movie just personified it, like, straight out. So this movie got a lot of attention. People were picketing this movie, trying to ban it. The poster art was kind of what got people going on this movie, because the poster itself it's rough. And there's some elements on the poster that I'm not going to point out straight up. But if you look closely at this photo, it's the head and the guy standing there. There's something going on in this photo that makes it one step more vulgar, maybe 10 steps more vulgar than what you would even imagine, like, to be on a poster. And you got to remember, this image was plastered on, like, huge billboards in the 80s. Just this picture plastered across a humongous billboard you'd see while you were driving down the street or something like that. You know, in certain areas that were more prone to putting up, like, film posters and stuff like that. But I've always loved this poster just because it is so trashy, and it is so... Actually, William Lustig himself wasn't the hugest fan of the poster when the poster art was made. He just thought it was, like, way too crass. Like, okay, this is going to cause us some problems. However, it's become so classic and such a memorable image from that time period, and it got some people into some trouble too. So, but Maniac, cool poster, man. All right, here's another 80s poster. This is a poster for a movie called The Changeling. This is just a creepy image, okay? This is another drawn one, an illustrated poster. You'll notice there's a lot of illustrated ones, and those tend to be some of the better ones, actually. But this is just a creepy image. This is just one of those images that, as a kid, you'd look at this and you'd want to see this movie, but I don't know. Is this movie too scary? And in all honesty, it's just a good ghost story. I love The Changeling with George C. Scott. It's a cool movie, and it's a good ghost story. It's not the scariest movie ever made or anything, but the image on the poster art is just so... I don't know how to describe it other than to say, like, it's very creepy, a very eerie looking photograph. It invokes, this is gonna be a creepy ghost story. This is a scary one. That's what it makes you think. And that's what was kind of cool about a lot of these posters, is they really tried to push that element. Instead of showing off, like, actors' faces and whatnot, they just wanted to show you this movie is going to be messed up. This movie is going to be scary. This movie is going to be fun. Like, that's just the way that these posters were designed. So I love the Changeling poster. That's awesome. So now we're in 1984, okay? And we're talking about Wes Craven's original Nightmare on Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street. And what I find fascinating about this poster is this is a great poster art. This is a classic poster from the 80s for a horror film. However, for whatever reason, every single re-release that Warner Brothers has put out of this movie, they never used the original poster. Actually, there was one that they used the original poster art on the inside boxes. It was a box set way back in the day when DVD first came out. They used that original poster art. But it really wasn't, it hasn't been used since then. It's been, like, pretty much non-existent. I don't know if it's a rights issue or what it is, but it's such a classic poster art, and it never gets used. You always just get, like, Freddy's face or Freddy with his glove on the front, and that's all you ever get. So, I don't know. Now we're at 1985, and this is my number 10. I just think this is a really cool, this is a great looking poster. I mean, I love the movie as well, Fright Night from 1985. The poster art is beautiful. It's a great piece of artwork that, I mean, I don't have one, but I would love to have this poster just on display. There is a long version of this poster too, like a square, like, I don't know what they call that, but like, it's like a bigger version of the poster that's horizontal rather than like vertical, and that version just looks really, really cool. But I mean, the general poster art, which is the regular vertical poster art, is gorgeous. It's a great looking artwork, and I mean, I don't know if it does kind of evoke the vibe of the movie, yeah, definitely. But this is an anomaly, being that we're at like 1985 now, and by this point you did start to get the posters with the actors' faces and stuff. So the fact that you've got literally just this artwork, and actually apparently I think Amanda Bierce, who played one of the main characters in the film, she was also in Married with Children, I think that's her face. I think she said that was her face that's on the ghost image that's on the poster. So she finds it fascinating that she got to be the main face on the poster. But it's a cool, creepy image, like a ghostly image with the house and whatnot. It's just a great poster. And yeah, I've always been a fan of that poster. It's a really cool poster. I don't know. So that's it. That's my list of movies. I'm gonna add one other poster here. This is a modern poster that I feel like, this is the 11. This is the modern poster that I feel like did it right. They made a poster that looked like a classic horror movie poster. Whether you like this movie or not, the movie Terrifier 3, Damien Leone's Terrifier 3, okay? There's multiple versions of this poster actually, and they all look really cool. But the one that I'm showing right here it's just a really cool piece of artwork, and it is classic in that it really evokes the style of the late 70s and the early 80s. This is something you would see on a video box back in the day, and you'd be like, oh man, what is this? And it would kind of get your attention. And I feel like a lot of filmmakers, maybe it's just the marketing departments, they don't really do this anymore. It's not the same type of thing when they make posters. Like I said before, it's just about plastering actors' faces all over the posters and it looks like a collage. But this is just, I mean, technically the actors are on the poster for this particular poster, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just creepy and cool and bloody and just really evokes the vibe of the movie and makes you go, wow, what is that movie? I want to see that movie. But yeah, so that was a modern example of somebody doing it right. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of this. I'm a huge fan of classic poster art. I've always been a fan of classic poster art. And I feel like these older posters can really kind of teach modern filmmakers how to make a movie poster. Because modern movie posters, for the most part, they're starting to get a little bit better, because I think people are starting to look back to the past and they're being inspired by these older like poster art ideas. I don't know, it's just better. It's a piece of artwork. It's something that you'd want to hang on your wall, you'd want to display if you're into those type of movies. But anyway, if you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. List some of your favorite posters, because you know, I always love looking at poster arts. If there's stuff that you grew up and you love this, I mean, there's so many out there. I mean, like I said, I could have made this like 50 posters, but I wanted to narrow it down to about 10, just what I thought were pretty cool looking stuff. But anyway, thanks. I hope you enjoy. Take care.